Why hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. I'm assuming that if you are here, you have picked up my Adobe After Effects preset. So let's talk about installing it, what you're gonna get in the box, and how you might use some of this stuff. Alright, we are in Adobe After Effects, and the first thing we need to do is tell After Effects where we would like this stuff to be saved and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to twirl down our animation presets and see that there's no user presets folder. So we have to tell After Effects to make one. So hit Control Y on your keyboard and we'll make a solid, doesn't matter, and we'll just find any random effect. Sure. Drag that on. We can close that down, and then we can go to Animation, Save Animation Preset. Make sure you have those effects selected, and we'll just call this sample. I know this is something that Adobe has already made, but we just need it to save it in the folder so that we can access that folder. So now we can refresh the list by clicking on the three lines up here, and then we can twirl down and we can see that the animation presets folder now has a user preset section. We scroll down, we can see the sample that we just made. Click on those three lines again, and then we'll go to Reveal in Explorer, and we'll see this folder in my user, Jags, OneDrive, Documents, Adobe, Adobe After Effects, User Presets. Now, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to wherever we have the download that we just got from the website, that is my website. And what we're going to take is all the folders that are in here. Within this, you'll find some soft glows, some maps, some shape stuff, just things I like to add to my YouTube videos to help give it a little bit of extra love. If I am ever doing something incredibly fancy or something for VFX, I will generally use a paid plugin. All these presets are not paid plugins. You don't have to have any third-party software. This is like basic stuff that I use. Stay tuned, I'll be making some future stuff, some future actual plugins, but this is kind of getting you started for some basic After Effects YouTube stuff. So with that out of the way, let's take all these folders that you have downloaded from my website and then Control C and Control V into the user preset section. We can minimize that. We can minimize where we save that, not After Effects. We still need that. Maximize. And we can close the animation preset, hit the three lines, refresh list, and we'll wait just a second, and user presets, and hey, there is everything in there. So we can go to this gray solid here and hit Control-Shift-E, and that will remove all the effects. We'll just hit Control-Shift-Y to change the color. Set this to a black just for convenience, and we can just start scrubbing through. We can see we have some background stuff. So we have an 8x8 grid or a 4x8 grid depending on the size of your composition. So if this is a square solid, it would be 4x4 or 8x8, but it actually is working out right now. So we have 8x8, and then we can go in and fuss with the width and height of things. Now this is just the grid slider, but generally when you put on the grid effect, it comes in like this. And what if I wanted 8? Then you kind of have to go in. So there's that. I also have a set of presets called Super Stuff. So we can see that I have these sliders on here that will give us the amount of boxes that we want. So it's just a little bit easier, and it's already set up in the basic preset. So it just saves you some clicks. All right. So we can close that, Control-Shift-E to remove effects on a layer. We can go to expressions. So we'll just lock this background for now so it won't move. We can't select it and do anything. We'll hold Alt on our keyboard and cycle through our shape until we get to a polygon. Double click that, hit UU, and just bring it down just a little bit so that we have something a little bit smaller. Now we'll click on that shape layer, hit P, and then we'll go to expressions, and I have a wiggle position. Working on more expressions right now, actually in a plugin. Stay tuned for that, but we'll double click that and we can see it applied an expression to the position property. And it is referencing the sliders that I have up here, so we can bump up the frequency to like 10, the amplitude to like 50, and if we hit the playback button, it's gonna have a seizure. It's gonna go nuts. But hey, we only had to do that in a couple of clicks rather than having to add this expression and type all the things, add the sliders. So this just saves you a little extra time. Close that, remove the expression, Now we can go to some glitchy elements. These are some of my absolute favorites. So what we can do is we can go to a project, elements, and I have my logo here. We'll drop this in, and right now the logo is black, so we'll just look up for a fill, and we'll just drop this on the logo, and we'll set this to white, and now we have a white logo. Now we'll go back to our animation and use a preset, glitchy elements, and we can see here that we have a bunch of different things. We have a analog text preset, so if we double click that, it will give us a little bit of noise and stuff on it. If we zoom in nice and close, we can see here that it's giving us a little bit of movement, and this is just a bunch of different effects stacked up to give us that extra look that's instead of just a flat white logo. All right, so let's get rid of that, and we can go to blink 20 frames, and we can see that we need to have the background be white. Control Y. Boop. So we can see what's happening now. So it's gonna blink like every 20 frames, so to speak. Now, if you've ever been familiar with 1980s commercials, you will know that they really love their blinking logos, kind of like Better Call Saul or something like that. So this kind of just does that for you with an expression and some opacity and whatnot. So we can just remove that. Now, continuous flicker. It's just gonna flicker. All right, so that's pretty cool. We can go into our white solid and set this back to a black solid. We can see that we have this fast, smeary shape. So if we double click this square, we can see it made a little shape layer right there. And if we let it play back, it's just a little accent that you could add under text or something like that. And then what you can do is you can actually bring this above your logo or below your logo, whichever you prefer. And we can just say, hey you. Click on the position and then just drag this under. And then on this keyframe, just drag this out. And then go to the first keyframe and drag this to the beginning right there. And then it should give us a little underline effect. So that's pretty cool. So we can get rid of that. What else do we have? We have a handful of random presets, so random color. So let's get rid of the fill on that. We can double click on the random color, and it should give us a random color hypothetically, but we have to make sure it is set to a white, because it's looking at the color values of the layer itself. So now if we just move that, duplicate it, and duplicate it. So this is useful if you have a bunch of layers all at once, then you can kind of just like duplicate things and it will automatically do the fun randomization for you, and it's kind of working off of the hue that it has originally. So you might have to fuss with the color of that a little bit, but I love this for like creating backgrounds and whatnot really fast. Next, we have some map displacement stuff. So if we have our logo, we'll put this in a pre-comp, so logo holder 01, and then move all attributes, and then we'll go in here and just set this to fill, set this to white, boop. Now, one of my biggest gripes with the displacement map effect is sometimes if you use it, it will move the logo with it or whatever you have inside that pre-comp. So what this does is it will set an expression based on the logo. So then if you displace it, it should, in theory, keep it in the same spot. Now, one of the big things you do need to have with this is a displacement map, which is my favorite effect that I'm about to show you. So we'll go to a new solid, hit Control Y, and we'll call this map glitch map 01, and we'll hit Control Spacebar for the FX console. Super. Oh, excuse me, we actually have to go in here and find glitchy elements, super glitch texture, and just drop that in, and we can see we have this fractal noise that's giving us this very cool glitchy effect. Now what we can do here is change some of these settings, maybe bring up the contrast, maybe bring up the complexity by a lot, maybe bring down the brightness. And then we can change the size of it to be even wider. We can change the maximum height. Yeah, that works. And then what we can do, we'll bring up the maximum height. All right, now we'll take this glitch map and we'll hit Control-Shift-C and we'll call this Super Glitch Map 01. And then we'll drag this to the bottom layer stack. So we don't see it, but it's still there. And we'll go to this displacement map on the logo, select that. And now if we move the magnitude, it should keep the logo relatively in the same place, but the displacement is moving around that. So it'll keep your logo centered, but the displacement will glitch around it. So that's pretty cool. Next is the random displacement map in. It's one of my other favorites. So we can hit P, remove that expression, and then double click that. And if we hit U, we can see that we have a bunch of expressions and stuff happening. But basically all we need this to do is look at the super glitch displacement. We can hit U again to collapse it. And if we hit spacebar, it will glitch for about 1 second, 2 seconds, and then it should, in theory, come back and be animated in, kind of like a glitch effect or a glitch logo animation sort of thing. You could spruce this up a little bit more as we let this RAM preview. I'm just kind of speaking on behalf of this because this is one of my favorite effects because it's very easy to just change the look of it. So if you ever have like a motion graphics template, you can use this and change the seed or change some of the values and get a different look every time. So we can play that back now. And over about 2 seconds, based on the animation duration, it will finish the glitchiness. And at the beginning, it starts very, very glitchy. The displacement map is a little bit higher, and then it will ease into place. So one more time. And now what we can do is we can change the X magnitude. So like really crank it up to like, I don't know, 2000, maybe bring the Y magnitude up to like 600. And we can just set this to quarter just so that you can see what's happening. Pretty cool. And then one of my other favorite effects is the flicker on. So what we can do is we can just drag this onto the logo holder. Now we have a bunch of effects stacked, and we have now a modular sort of procedural glitch animation that you can use for your videos or whatever else. So there's a lot of presets I have in this pack, and what's cool about this effect is it's mostly going to be intuitive in the sense that you can just hop into the logo holder and swap this out to like anything you want. So let's just add a hexagon, maybe add a stroke, set it to white, maybe get rid of the fill, boop, boop, and then doop. And then maybe we'll just duplicate this one more time and duplicate that one more time and rotate it and rotate it. Just random design stuff that I'm doing to show you what's up. And then we can just play that back. And hey, that's a pretty cool looking glitch animation. And then we can add some glows to it. So we can go to the adjustment layer and we can go to the glow and soft but noisy glow. And now we have a little bit of a glow on it. So my goal with this preset pack is to effectively give you some basic tools that you can use in After Effects that saves you clicks and saves you time for some basic titles. Now, if you ever need to do things like particle systems or 3D animation or actual like VFX, that's where those big plugins come in, those third-party plugins like Element 3D, optical flares, etc., etc. This is to hopefully get you started with some basic backgrounds, basic graphic design, basic After Effects effects to save you some time and create something that's just a little bit cooler than just some white text on a black screen. So I hope this is useful, helpful, or convenient to you in some way, shape, or form. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you have any effects that you use regularly and you want to make it a little bit easier, let me know and I can build some presets for you. So that's it. I will leave you with one more thing. Eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and you will make some proteins. Goodbye, my friends. Bye.